But it's not over for you yet?
No, we've still got, I believe we've still got one more option, which obviously we've come this far. I'm not going to stop now.
What is that option?
There's a possibility, United Nations or the European Court, I believe. So we're deciding today which one of those.
Well, it's very interesting that they give you 48 hours. They give you 2 days, really, to decide whether your son lives or dies. And I was just watching that and think, how on earth do you take all of that in? How do you move on? You must have a very good team around you.
I just think that I haven't been able to process anything. So, again, like I said before, I'm in fight and flight mode. There is no time to think about anything or process anything. That's going to come after at the minute. Obviously, Archie's fight for life is the most important thing, so...
Between all this, do you get a chance to see him? Do you get, you know, when that ruling was made yesterday, do you then go and see him? Or?
Yeah, I'm with him 24/7, aren't I?
Yeah.
And I sleep there.
You sleep beside...
Yeah, I sleep beside him.
And what's going through your mind, knowing the way things have gone so far?
It's extremely frustrating because it's cherry-picked what's being handed over to the courts. Now, the courts are obviously making their decision based on what evidence is going in. As I've said from day one, we haven't been allowed independent people in. When it was asked if Archie had had muscle-relaxing drugs before they attempted to do the brainstem test, I demanded a private blood test. We haven't been given that. And it was the examiners that actually asked the hospital, has this child, 3 times, has this child been given muscle-relaxing drugs? They said Archie was brain dead after 2 days of being in hospital.
Yeah.
If that's the case, why is he still being heavily sedated 5 weeks later? Nothing makes...
But all of this happened, his accident happened when? April, wasn't it?
April 7th.
And he's been in this state since. So when you sit beside his bed of an evening and you look at your boy, what do you see? What do you see? How would you describe him?
Obviously, it's heartbreaking.
Does he look alive to you?
Yes, he does, very much alive.
Why?
It looks like he's asleep. He's got nice little flushed, like, red cheeks.
So his complexion's good?
Yes, really good.
And you've said you've seen muscle reaction before. We're seeing him gripping
of the hand.
Your hand there.
He made breaths. He took breaths on Friday and on Saturday that I videoed. That the court, they haven't even looked at that, you know, and they're still basing... Can I ask you,
even besides looking at that, do these judges attend Archie's room? Do they go and see him?
There was the first judge that did go. We haven't asked any more judges. The first judge that did go and see Archie stood at the end of the room, didn't approach the bed, didn't attempt to talk to Archie.
Surely that is their duty. Surely they would have to do that. To make a pronouncement like this, to decide whether a child lives or dies, surely you would want to be there, to touch him, to feel his temperature, to just see... I mean, you are convinced your boy will wake up.
I know he will wake up.
You know he will wake up?
I know 100% he will wake up.
But what happens if you don't get leave to appeal this again?
He's not going to get a chance to wake up. He's just going to be... He'll be killed, won't he?
Killed as a...
That's how I see it. He'll be killed.
Description, yeah.
Along with the other children like Charlie Gard, Alfie Evans. It's not fair.
Obviously, though, the clinical advice disagrees with what you are saying, so other people, professionals, aren't seeing what you see.
No, they're not. And I question that, because if they're so sure that this is the case with Archie, why will they not allow other independent specialists in to look at Archie?
I don't know. You've got to ask that question as to why.
You are fighting really hard, the most painful fight you could ever have imagined. Who's helping you? What kind of support do you have?
I've got some really good, supportive friends around me. Obviously, our legal team are really good. I've got Ella, my son's girlfriend, Leona. We've got a close little network where people are obviously... Another friend, Kelly, she's doing a lot of stuff as well. You know, it's...
I'm on a really difficult timeline, so I know you said you're thinking about what you're going to do today. How do you think the day is going to pan out?
I don't really plan the day. I know Archie's stable, which isn't what's being put through to the court. He is stable. You know, they say he can't maintain his temperature. He maintains his temperature. I've got hundreds and hundreds of daily pictures, different times of the day where I'm taking a picture. But one thing I have noticed is they've put the air conditioning on full blown in Archie's room. The room is absolutely freezing and he's still maintaining his temperature with his normal cover on.
Gosh. Hollie, you know you're facing that deadline. You know sometime tomorrow, whatever, the deadline runs out. Does that frighten you, or how are you thinking about that? I mean, time is literally ticking away.
It is frightening. Obviously, it's not something any parent wants to face. Again, I'm just going to give it all I can until I can't go no more.
I think it's very important. When I look at your son, I see a beautiful child, absolutely beautiful child. Tell us about him, just so that people realise this is not a statistic. This is a boy.
He's a beautiful little boy, Archie. He's so bubbly. He leaves an impact wherever he goes. He's very sensitive. He's a real charmer with his ex-girlfriends, as he calls it. Still on talking terms with all his exes. He's just a really funny, lovely, happy, energetic little boy. And one thing I can honestly say is, like me, Archie doesn't like injustice, and Archie would be doing exactly the same. If it was a role reversal, Archie would be fighting tooth and nail for me.
What would you give, how far would you go just to see him wake up?
Oh, I'd give anything, absolutely anything.